are going to begin with prayer, which is always joyous. Come on in, girls.
How many people? Okay, nobody can leave now.
Were you able to get what you needed, or do you? Yeah.
So,
Do you need help with something? Okay.
thank you later. I'll just preface this before the official start. I just decided that I wasn't going to get stressed about this one. Yeah, I was just going to kind of whatever came together. I've given this presentation, modifications of it, starting probably 10 years ago, and it's add pictures, and I give basically orientation to the honeyberry bush, the horticultural talk to master gardeners groups and stuff. So I had the PowerPoint presentation, and then I did another one previously for a local community group that had a little more human interest about how Jim and I met and who we are. So this is kind of a merging of some of the past presentations I did. So and then I can. But what I was going to say, as far as dressing, then just bringing some berries and some stuff, and there were fresh bread at noon, so I absconded with a couple buns. There's nothing like fresh buns with jam, so there's some samples afterwards. And yeah, so just part of the journey, I think, is my developing as a person to be able to stand up here and give presentations and to do it without getting all stressed and having to be perfect and everything, and you're good roots. So with that said, I'll just open in prayer, and then I'll share what the journey has been like the last 15, 16 years. So, Lord, thank you. Thank you that you give us opportunities to grow all through life, from the moment of conception to the moment you take us home. You give us opportunities to grow and to learn to abide in you, walk with you, hear you, learn what it means that you guide us with your eye upon us, and thank you for this opportunity to share the journey that you've given my husband and me the past 15, 16 years, and to share this wonderful fruit that you've put on this earth for us to enjoy. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Okay. How many have tasted the honeyberries yet? Okay, so some of you?
Over there this last couple of days.
Just last couple of days,
Yeah,
okay.
just the last couple of days.
I'll just preface it, if you find a little sour, a little tart, that's because it is sour and tart at this time of year, because I just picked them Wednesday, and they're just coming into ripeness. They're ripe enough for jam.
No, this is
But
berry.
after you let them
Berry extra, no one
ripen on the bush, the sweeter they get. So if they're a little tart to begin with, fresh, there's nothing a little sugar in one case.
I thought they were black beans.
Say what?
I thought they were black beans. Oh,
Until you bit into them, they go explosion of flavor, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I just put some pictures up here. This is our farm. This is in the fall. If you drive up to our farm, you'll see a sign that says the Honeyberry Farm, and the white barn that we bought, let's see, 2.5 acres in 2003. And it has evolved. It's just grown as we have. So this is the original part of the about 1.5 acres of the original 2.5 acres we bought. And that's another fall picture, but we're going to look at some other seasons of life. And as I said, part of this is just introducing who we are as a couple that shall I bring together. Oh boy. There we go. I thought we were all ready to go. Arrow. Maybe an arrow. There we go. Oh, the arrow. Okay. Once we got the glitch out of the way. Okay, so every good story starts with once upon a time, right? And once upon a time, two farm kids reached their mid-30s without finding the love of their life. So we needed a little help. There I am up in Saskatchewan, Canada, and Jim was in southern Minnesota, growing up on a dairy farm. I grew up on a mixed grain farm. So I actually was born in Wadena, Saskatchewan. Yes, this is her town.
Sister city, huh?
Sister city to Wadena, Minnesota.
Wow.
And they actually do have a formal relationship with the stuff. So there was quite a bit of, I think, migration first to Minnesota and then made their way up. My grandparents actually immigrated from Norway to Minnesota to North Dakota and then up into Saskatchewan. So I am actually kind of returning to sort of some roots here. I feel very much at home in Minnesota. I'm very happy here. Yeah, so I spent 9 years in South America doing computer support with local Bible translators. And then I transferred to the Arizona office in 2001 to work with the Mexico branch. And during this time, I was in my mid-30s and had this growing desire to maybe find someone to spend the rest of my life with. Could hardly believe it might happen, but it's going to hurt. No harm asking the Lord for desires of your heart. And so in the meantime, my husband Jim, my now husband Jim, was born in Alberta, Minnesota, to a region father and a Heinz 57 mother. He had a longer history in the United States than I did, like 11 generations. He grew up on dairy farms, and then he moved up, when his folks split up in 1979, he moved up with his dad, and they grew up with his brother and his dad did dairy farming. So when his dad died in 1997, Jim still had farming in his blood, but he was glad to be done with the cows. They sold the cows, and then he went to the White Earth and did some farming for the tribe. And then he spent a winter volunteering with Bible translators in Mexico when I was in Arizona. So, since his building,
Very desperate.
yes, desperate times do require desperate measures. I'm pushing, I'm 37, at this point, so. And I actually admitted, compassion for the soul. I admitted to this gentleman here, this missionary, I need a husband. So they mentioned to me that Farmer Jim was going to be coming up to, over to Arizona to help them. This is the couple that Jim had gone to Mexico with and volunteered with for the previous winter. So being as I gave them the go-ahead to do a little matchmaking, they embraced that task with yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so after admitting that I needed a husband, I found this. Does anyone know what a missionary boutique is?
Wow.
Secondhand store right on the missionary compound, and I had never seen this before. You gotta understand, this was a missionary compound with a lot of retirement age people and snowbirds that would come down to Arizona but volunteer. So this was kind of out of character to find a missionary boutique. So I tried it on, and
Wow.
guess what?
Wow.
It fit.
Oh.
So yeah, so so that was like in July, I think, and then October 31st, yeah.
Had you met Farmer Jim when you tried the dress up?
No. Not yet. Okay, so yeah, this is July time frame, July, and then he comes down. I'm skipping some slides. I had more slides. You want to hear the story? I know. Yeah, so he comes down after finishing his custom combine. Had to finish, a custom combine, and ended up in North Dakota. And they turned around and drove back to Arizona, where our mutual friends were located. And Ralph told him to practice his Spanish with me, and he did.
And you said, "Te amo."
Within 15 minutes of meeting me, he said to me, "Te casas conmigo? Will you marry me?"
What?
In Spanish.
In 15 minutes.
Within 15 minutes. But something in me said,
What?
don't say no.
What?
Because he was like this little boy. Well, okay, so I went told him to practice the Spanish, and Jim says, what should I say? And Drell said, just whatever I taught you.
Oh.
He was being obedient to his elders.
Oh
my. Something in me said, don't say no. So I said in Spanish, tienes que hablar conmigo, papa.
Oh.
Y'all understand that? Papa?
Yeah.
I'm to talk to my dad. And boy, he was quick. He came back and he says, you gotta understand, he had basic Spanish, but he came back as quick as anything, and he said, teléfono?
Oh.
So I'm thinking, oh boy, this is moving kind of fast, you know?
I move fast.
So I said, I rattled it off really fast, you know, so I knew he couldn't understand it, couldn't grasp it that fast. But he was not a man to be stopped so easily. He says, repítalo. Por favor. I go, no, I had to put on the brakes. I said, that's gone far enough. And then, so that was October 31st, and then, you know, I visited with my mutual friends, but then he kind of reverted to his typical northern Minnesota reserved, don't say anything or talk. And we didn't really talk for a couple months. But we had shared meals at our mutual friend's place, and I visited with Judy and Ralph, and he was just there. He was just there. He went to Mexico. See, he was a man of his word. He had promised his friends to meet this other, before he met me, he had promised to meet this Mexican girl in Mexico. So he felt obligated to meet her first before seriously pursuing anything. So he went to Mexico, met her, found out she actually had another boyfriend.
Right.
And guess what? God used that. The Americano that came prompted her boyfriend to propose, and they got married. So Jim was off the hook, and he came back and walked in from my office and gave me a hug. And I go, okay, what is going on with this guy? And yeah, so we, that was like in January of 2003. So we got engaged March 2003 in Arizona, and the rest is history. Yeah, so then he went up to Canada, and our missionary friend married us. And I was licensed over the phone to marry us, so I assume it's legal, but yeah, it was fun. That was fun. So we came back to Minnesota and ended up at 5 miles from the headwaters of the Mississippi at Long Lake, Minnesota, just on the north side there. We lived in a cabin for a couple of years while we built our cabin. We lived a simple life, and it's beautiful up here, you know. But, and I embraced it, but I was looking forward to having, you know, some conveniences of home, maybe some indoor plumbing and water.
Is that Davy's cabin?
Yeah, that was the Davies.
Okay, I knew I recognized it.
Wow.
Yeah, they're old cabins. So we did acquire some land just outside of Bagely, and the Davies helped us put up a cabin.
A true log cabin.
True log cabin, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was blessed with.
Lovely.
Our little home on 2.5 acres. So, and we moved in July 2005, so 21 years ago. But what were we gonna do? There was like a clearing there. We had to move the fence, and so the cows, it was a pasture, so we fenced the cows out of our home area now. Of course, Jim knew how to do that, all that, but we needed a job, because I'm Canadian, so he needed a job to import me, well, to get me, you know, immigrate me, so that I could immigrate. So he needed to actually make some money. So what led us to start building houses, and teamed up with an older experienced builder, and we built some houses and sold them. And the day that we went for my immigration financial interview in the cities, like that week, just the day or a couple days before, we had gotten the purchase agreement for the first house that we built on the top left-hand corner. And without that, our bank account would not have been sufficient for her to grant me you know, approval. And so we brought the purchase agreement, she looks at it, she says, and she looked at our bank account, and she says, what you been living on, love?
Yes,
Yeah, no, we lived on God's love and his provision for us, but his provision was to have that purchase agreement. And she says, okay, when the sale goes through, send me a copy and then I'll approve it. So, yeah, next, it was within, you know, just a very short time that the sale did go through. And I got my green card and, yeah, it was about 2008, I think, and finally, at the end of 2022, I think I finally got my citizenship. But that was, yeah, just the story of his provision, you know. So, yeah, we built houses and then the housing market slumped, but another opportunity arose, which was, turned out to be a very fruitful adventure. I noticed a new berry in a garden catalog in the winter of 2010. You know, right after Christmas, early New Year's, you get these spring catalogs. And us gardeners